The Packers have played their 4 quarters. Now it's time for the 5th quarter.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 2017 underway. It's great to have you back here with us at the Stadium View, and joining us tonight, leading off, playing right field.
Wrong sport.
From Oconto County. Ladies and gentlemen, Packers.com lead staff writer Wes Hodkiewicz, our special guest tonight. Hello, Wes.
Hello, Mark. I don't think I'm strong enough to be playing right field, though.
Why not?
I'd have to be like a center fielder. I don't think I have power. I don't have enough power to hold down that spot.
Not every right fielder is a power hitter. But anyway, thanks for coming
It was more
over.
of a Little League reference anyway.
Oh,
just
there you go.
Yeah, really. Yeah, stick him on right field.
Put him in
Nobody
right.
hits it to right field, right? He'll never get any action. Welcome aboard, Wes, and welcome to 2017. Where did the offseason go?
Unbelievable. I was actually just saying to my dad as we were walking in here, I can't. It seems like just yesterday you and I were here and it was snowing outside.
Yes,
we had
it
that
was.
Weird slush snow going
Yeah,
on, and
yeah.
here you are 8 months later, and we're
What
back
player
at it.
stiffed me last year? That.
Julius Peppers. Oh,
That's right. Yeah,
I
but no.
replaced Julius Peppers.
But Pep did come back.
Did he?
Yes.
Nice.
That was one of the greatest shows of the year last year with
Was
Pep.
it really?
I miss him.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss him. They're going to miss him.
He was great.
I just read today that he's tearing up Carolina camp.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. But
Yeah.
I mean, from a leadership standpoint, I mean, obviously we talk in the past that don't always bring in a lot of outside free agents, but just the presence that he brought in that room, you could feel it.
But Ted went out this year and got 5 veterans
Yeah.
signed. Not all of them were unrestricted free agents. A lot of them were street free agents, but nonetheless, whether you go from Jari Evans to Ricky Jean-Francois,
Good
right?
pronunciation.
We've
You got
got to
it.
go heavy French with Ricky, right?
You do.
Okay.
It is funny though because he did one of our Q&A things
Really?
on the Twitter machine.
Somebody called him Gene?
No, he called himself Gene.
What?
Yeah, it was weird. Like he introduced himself as Ricky Jean Francois, so then I was pronouncing it Ricky Jean Francois for a while later, for a time after that. Then it was brought to my attention that it is Jean Francois. So you just gotta make sure you get the pronunciation down.
All right.
But Ricky,
Rick-
is that French?
Good
Riche.
question.
Yeah,
Good
you would
question.
have to be
Riche.
if he's going to go Jean-Francois.
S'il vous plaît.
Riche.
Lance Kendrick.
Yep.
Martellus Bennett.
Martellus Bennett.
Tight end position went from don't give up on Jared Cook. It can't be that far apart with a contract to suddenly you've got Martellus, you got Kendricks, and you got Richard Rodgers.
Yeah,
in the
and they
fold.
signed within 2 days of each other, Bennett
Yeah.
and Kendricks. And it is interesting. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this, too. The first time you see Martellus Bennett in person, I mean, you can look at a media guide or a roster, and it says 6'6", 275. But until you actually stand in his presence, I don't think you really realize how large of a human being he is.
I thought Cook was big.
He was, yeah.
And
And,
he-
Bennett has 2 inches on him.
Yeah, he is big. And you know all about Marty
Sure.
Saurus Rex. Big Patriot fan over
Yeah.
here that he is, so he follows him on Twitter, as does everybody now.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're going to be less entertained. I will give you that.
He brings it. He brings it.
I mean, come on. Instagram sleeping at his locker on first night of camp.
Oh, that was classic, and it's one of those things. It was an interesting offseason if you go back and look at it, because Devon House ended up taking the late night journey to Green Bay.
That was the fifth. That was the last of the free agent
the last
guys.
of free agents. But I mean, Bennett showed a lot of dedication there. You had to be here. I think it was 6 a.m. in the morning that Wednesday before camp to
Right.
report. I think he tucked his little girl to bed.
Right?
Took the drive up. What is it? 94
Right.
from Chicago to Green
43,
Bay.
yep.
43. And here he was. So yeah, he's a big piece of this thing. And again with Kendricks too in there. Really deepening that tight end position.
So what got into Ted?
I think he's talked about this in the offseason. I think if I understand that correctly, you'll have him here on the show in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But the big thing is they lost 7 unrestricted free agents.
True.
And although they did move back in the draft, they had 10 picks overall. There's only so much you can do to replace those guys with young players. So when you lose the caliber of a Jared Cook, seeing what he did down the stretch, and a TJ Lang, even looking at some of these other guys like
Eddie
Julius
Lacy,
Peppers.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to find ways to be able to fill those voids, and I think for the most part there was a response to it, especially from House's perspective. I think it was important to add a leader in that room, an older veteran into that room, a guy that had familiarity with the system. And considering he was let go by Jacksonville, I thought that made way too much sense for him to be back in Dom Capers' defense.
Sam Shields, concussion gone. He was another one.
Right.
Who else left? Treader left. Micah Hyde left.
Yeah,
There was a batch. No
It
question
was,
about it.
yeah.
I don't fault those guys, Because quite honestly, everyone says, how could Ted let him go? Or how could Ted not spend the money the Lions shelled out TJ Lang? I'll tell you how. They can't afford it.
The price of poker is going up with
They
those interior
cannot
linemen.
afford.
For sure.
They made TJ an offer, and I thought a pretty good one, but the Lions were just so far above it
Yeah.
that the Packers just said, all right,
Yeah,
I'm out.
and that's
I fold.
It's tough, and I know how beloved he is in that locker room. I love dealing with him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he was
just
great.
a straight shooter, always a good quote, and he always had time for the media. So I gave him credit on all those accords. But at the end of the day, he has to do what he has to do for his family. It seems like from everything I'm judging by the coverage in Detroit, people are enjoying him out there. It's a chance for him to go back home. But now the Packers bring in Jari Evans from New Orleans, 6-time Pro Bowler. He'll be filling that spot and trying to
Five more
put their
than
best
Lang,
foot
man.
forward.
Yeah. It is in that regard. So, and even with all the comings and goings, most pundits say these guys are going to be right there again.
Yeah,